Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be giving my power rankings for year 2 quarterbacks. They were drafted in the 2020-2021 draft class, and these guys are going into their second year, and I'm going to be giving a power ranking based on last year's stats and their production, and I'm going to base it on how I think they're going to do right out of the gate. These power rankings are definitely subject to change, and I think I will do some follow-ups maybe after the season or in the middle of the season based on how good these quarterbacks do. But let's get right into this video. At number 6, I have Davis Mills. Davis Mills was arguably the second best quarterback based on statistics last year, just under Mac Jones. He was one of only 3 quarterbacks that had a positive touchdown to interception ratio. Now, he was a third-round pick by the Houston Texans. I don't think his ceiling matches nearly up to the rest of the first-round quarterbacks, which there are 5 on, and all of them are on this list. But Davis Mills' ceiling is capped, unfortunately, and I think that his ceiling is an average quarterback. We saw on a lot of occasions Davis Mills have a good pocket presence, but it felt like, especially on third downs, this was a massive problem. On third downs, he would occasionally either check down or throw the ball away if his first read wasn't necessarily there. And that was a problem coming out of college. And do I think Davis Mills could be a average quarterback or an above average quarterback? Yes, but this Texans roster is not very good at all, even though they have Brandon Cooks, who is always solid. I think that Davis Mills is going to have a questionable season, and I don't know whether they go on with him, whether they pick C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, or they keep him and go with Will Anderson. But I think he is a decent quarterback, but he's coming in on 6 on my list. Trey Lance showed flashes in his rookie year that he could be a good quarterback. But the problem was that the 49ers still had Jimmy G, still paying him a lot of money. And we only saw Trey Lance in really 3 situations, and I called them the 3 Gs. Garbage time, goal line, or games when Jimmy G was out or injured. Now, in those situations, Trey Lance had 5 touchdowns, and he also had 2 touchdowns on the ground to only 2 interceptions. But the problem was, when you look at those 5 touchdowns, they were all either on the goal line or explosive plays. And two of them were to Debo, where Debo shot off. I think one was like a 75. The other one was around a 50-yard touchdown. And Trey Lance, his accuracy was also kind of questionable, but we knew this coming out of college. He was the third overall pick, came out of North Dakota State University. We knew the 49ers knew that he was going to be raw. He is the first quarterback on the depth chart as of now, and I am concerned that Jimmy G won't be traded, but we'll have to see with the Trey Lance situation. He is coming at 5th on my list, but he has the highest potential to be higher on this list. Justin Fields is coming in at 4th on my list. He was very rocky and a bit inconsistent in that Bears system last year, even though it was a Jim Nagy system, essentially the Adam Gase of the 2021 NFL season. Everybody wanted him fired. Justin Fields was thrown into the fire pit once Andy Dalton was out. I think he was out for a significant amount of time, and then Justin Fields got the start and immediately got sacked 8 times by the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett having, I think, 5 of those. But Justin Fields showed some promise in some good games, like the one against the 49ers. But one major issue I have with Justin Fields is he truly is a first read and then run kind of guy. As you see in a few of these plays, he looks to Darnell Mooney and almost kind of locks onto him. Even though Darnell Mooney was his only great or only above average receiver last year because Allen Robinson refused to get open, it is a little shaky because it creates a lot more opportunities for Justin Fields to get sacked when he tries to push up into the pocket. And also, he misses some receivers or some open receivers by not looking at the second and third read, even though I feel like later in the year he did improve at that. But that was one of his major concerns coming out of college. But the problem is the Bears, the reason why he's at 4th is because the Bears did nothing to help him over this offseason. David Montgomery coming back off a major injury. They drafted Venus Jones, who I really didn't like when I thought was a massive overdraft. The best receiver they got in the free agency market was Byron Pringle. Darnell Mooney is returning. They lost Allen Robinson, and the offensive line is a bottom 5 group in the league. I really don't think that the Bears are going to perform well at all, and that leads to Justin Fields. He's not going to perform good either. But as I said, Justin Fields has a lot of talent, and I think in the right system, he could be very good. He has the arm strength, he has the athletic ability, and he can have that accuracy. And he's especially tough. He's a very tough player. But Justin Fields is going to have to be fourth on this list due to the Bears' incompetence. Even though Zach Wilson has been a topic of comedy, to be all serious, he is third on my power rankings list. Now, last year, he might have been the worst statistic quarterback based on QBR and accuracy and advanced quarterback numbers. But the problem was that his team failed him a lot last year. He led the league in DPOE, which is drop percentage over expected. And his completion percentage over expected was around -11. So if he was a league average, or if he had league average drops, he would have had around a 60% completion percentage. But he ended up having near a 50% completion percentage. And accuracy is his biggest issue. He oftentimes doesn't step through in his throws. He often throws off of his back foot, and he often his pocket presence also really hurts him in some occasions, where he either feels like there's unnecessary pressure or he lets the pressure get to him without making a decision. And also a big gripe I have with him, especially as a Jets fan, is that he didn't really know when to throw the ball away. But the big upside with Zach Wilson is he makes throws that a lot of quarterbacks are not able to make in the NFL. As you saw on that previous play, he makes sideline throws here's another one. He makes sideline throws really easy, and he also makes his deep accuracy and his deep ball ability, like his arm strength. They're both very good qualities, but he often throws off his back foot way too many times. He often holds his arm back when he's trying to throw short passes, but he still has that big upside, big ability to make throws. All he needs to do is to just be more accurate, step into throws. He needs to maybe learn when to throw the ball away more, and he needs to be more confident throwing the ball harder to his receivers and making sure that they catch the ball. But also, the Jets got a lot better this offseason. They won the draft. They had a really good draft. Garrett Wilson. They have Elijah Moore coming back healthy. They have Corey Davis coming back healthy. They signed Laken Tomlinson, who was a Pro Bowler. Their defense was a lot better, or their defense got a lot better. Their tight end room improved. They got Jeremy Rucker, Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah. His supporting cast has gotten a lot better. So I think Zach Wilson will have a better season this year, but he's coming in at third on my list because there are two quarterbacks that produced better and that also could have better potential. Trevor Lawrence is a very good quarterback, even in the situation that he had last year with Urban Meyer and his extremely horrible receiving group, and Urban Meyer basically giving away his biggest weapon in James Robinson and Travis Etienne going down with injury. Trevor Lawrence probably had one of the worst situations in the NFL next to Justin Fields. Now, Trevor Lawrence, unlike Zach Wilson, has that God-given ability of pocket presence, and he often steps into throws, which I love him doing, which leads to him having touchdowns. But the biggest problem is that Trevor Lawrence gave up a lot of interceptions. He was tied for the league lead in interceptions with Matthew Stafford, which is some rookie decision making. But he was second in rookie touchdowns. He had 14 on the air, and I think he had a few on the ground as well, only second to Mac Jones. Trevor Lawrence's pocket pressure or pocket presence was very good in his rookie year that a lot of rookies quite often don't have. and knowing when to step into throws, knowing when to evade pressure. Him also being a 6'5", 230-pound quarterback also leads him to have, that kind of generational prospect ability that he got the hype of coming out of the draft. Reason why he was the number 1 overall pick. Now, his supporting cast did also improve, similar to Zach Wilson, getting Christian Kirk, who was really solid in Arizona, in the slot. I don't know if he's going to move out of there or if he's going to stay into the slot. That's a lot of money to have for a slot receiver. He also got Zay Jones, who is all right. I think giving Zay Jones $7 million was whatever. He's got Laviska Shenault, who's a former high second-round pick, and they still have Marvin Jones, who's a good veteran. But the offense, and they also got Brandon Scherf on the offensive line, but he can somewhat not stay healthy. Biggest thing is he's getting Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson went to the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. So I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to have a more improved second year. I think he becomes maybe the best or the second best after this year quarterback, but I still don't think the Jags will have a team success just because it's the Jaguars. I know their schedule isn't that tough because they're in kind of a weak AFC South. I think Trevor Lawrence will be good, but I don't think the Jags will be good. Mac Jones was the best quarterback of last year. He had 22 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, leading to him to become a Pro Bowler. I know that he was, but he probably shouldn't have been a Pro Bowler. That's what it's an asterisk. But otherwise, he was the best quarterback. He had the best accuracy. He had the best team success as he went to the playoffs. But Mac Jones' ceiling is capped. I think his ceiling is Kirk Cousins, somebody that has good stats on paper, but necessarily doesn't give their team an extra step like some guys like guys like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I don't think he's gonna or ever will be that guy, but I think he's like Kirk Cousins to where he's a good piece for your team and he's a solid quarterback and he's always in that top 15 range. I think that's his ceiling. But otherwise, he has to come in first on this list because he was the best quarterback. But I think the Patriots didn't do enough this offseason to make him take another jump. I think he's going to stay around the same area to where he was, a quarterback that has elite accuracy but doesn't elevate their team to an elite level. I think that the Patriots took a step back by not. I know that their receiver room didn't get that much better. N'Keal Harry is about to get released. Kendrick Bourne was his number 1 receiver, if I'm not mistaken. Even though Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are both good players, that's a lot of money to put into a tight end room and not into a receiver room. Their offensive line got a little worse as Shaq Mason was traded for essentially nothing, even though that means Michael Onwenu is going to take a step up. Trent Brown is getting older and a lot injured, so we're going to have to see what happens with the Patriots this year. I don't think that they're going to be a playoff team. I think they might even have a losing record. Mac Jones is going to be solid. He's going to have good stats, but he's not going to elevate this team to a playoff level. And if he does, that'd be really surprising, and he would stay number 1 on this list. But due to his success last year, he has to be number 1 on this list. The quarterback I think that will have the best numbers on paper is probably going to be Mac Jones, and I think a close second will be Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson. The player that has the best supporting cast right now has to be Zach Wilson due to the depth on his team. He has a good offensive line, good tight end room, good receiver core, and the second would have to be Trey Lance unless Deebo Samuel holds out, and if he does, then Trevor Lawrence would have the second best. But right now, the best supporting cast have to be Zach Wilson and Trey Lance. But let me know your thoughts about this video. Let me know your power rankings for year 2 quarterbacks. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching.